Alright, hopefully it works. Oh, wait, it says we're streaming.
We are?
We're up? I think we might be up, hold on.
I hope
Do
so.
you guys see? Oh, hey, we're up!
We are live?
Yeah, we're live, we did it.
Hello? Who's there?
Yeah, we did it. Oh, wait, it says... Okay, yeah, I'm gonna exit out of that.
We're here.
Alright, we made it.
Woo! We fixed it.
After 20 minutes of trying to research what was the issue.
Thank you, Geek Squad. Oh. Alright. Are we ready? Who's ready? Okay, what does the graph look like for non-colluding oligopolies? There is no graph for non-colluding oligopolies. Only one for colluding oligopolies. That's it. So Liam, no graph for non-colluding oligopolies. Oligoopies. There used to be something called a kink demand curve that some of the AP resources have, but they don't test it, so I'm not even going to address it. I used to teach the kink demand curve. It's where marginal revenue has a kink in it. But that's it. We don't have to worry about it. Explain the good, the bad, and the ugly triangle. Exactly. It was good, bad, and ugly. Just having a little fun there, Chelsea. What's the difference between dominant strategy and Nash equilibrium? Well, great question. So, dominant strategy is where firms are going to make a move without considering the other firms. Nash equilibrium is going to involve more of profit maximization for both firms. So I don't know if anybody wants to go through. Do you want me to search for an example and go through that? I could do that. Maybe. Okay, let me go look for a dominant strategy payoff matrix. Okay, so let's find a simple one out there. Let's see. Let me see if I can find a good example. A lot of people. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to copy this down. Here's one that I found. There's firm B, and then there's firm A, and I'm going to draw the matrix. Firm B, basically, are they going to advertise or not advertise? Firm A, advertise and not advertise. So let me put the numbers in, and I'll show you what we're going to do here. Okay. All right. So let me go back here and show everybody. All right, so here's what I'm going to show everybody right here. Let me just back up a bit here. So we have firm A advertises, and if firm B advertises, their combined profit is $15. If both of them do not advertise, their combined profit is $12. So you see different variations. Now, I just picked this off the internet, but we can certainly walk it through. So if we're talking about dominant strategy, and I always think that I'm going to use all kinds of different colors here. I'm going to save red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to box the firm on the left. And if I box the firm on the left, I'm going to box in all the numbers on the left, just like that. Okay? And you should always do that. It just keeps your mind clear and straight, and you know what numbers you're dealing with. So what I'm going to do right now is take a look to see if firm B advertises. So firm B is the second number. So firm B, either if they advertise, they're either going to get 5 or 8. So the question is, what should firm A do? And firm A should advertise. Firm B, if they decide not to advertise, firm A should still advertise. So here's what we get right here. Okay. So what does that tell us? It tells us that firm A has a dominant strategy. And somebody is at my door, and I'm not answering the door. So firm A has a dominant strategy. How many of you hear the dog barking like a maniac? Maybe it's trick-or-treaters, okay? So firm A has a dominant strategy. Okay, now let's go to see if firm A decides to advertise, firm B should also advertise. And if firm A doesn't advertise, firm B should advertise. So firm B does have a dominant strategy to advertise. And right there. So you see right here, oops, let me go ahead. This and that would make their dominant strategy. Okay? So that's dominant strategy right there. Okay? Now, some of you have asked about Nash equilibrium. Okay, so we're going to talk about Nash equilibrium in a second. And we'll wait for the dog to stop barking. Okay. Let's see what we got here. All right, so we're still on dominant strategy. And give me a second to go ahead with Nash equilibrium. Give me 1 second. Hang in there, everybody. I think the dog is done barking. I hope so. Just crazy. I think he's done barking. Okay, let's see what we got here. So, Nash equilibrium, John Nash. right, give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Having serious internet problems tonight. Don't know why, but I am. So remember what you want to do with Nash equilibrium, and I know I had that one example with dominant strategy. I don't have another color pen. I would use that, like purple, but I've already used blue, black. I don't have any used blue yet. So remember, you want to figure out player A's best response to all of player B's actions. So, for instance, and remember we use the circle and the square. So if player B if player B advertises, or firm B advertises, player A wants to advertise. If player B does not advertise, then, or if player A doesn't advertise, player B should advertise. Okay? If player B advertises, actually I already went through player A. Hold on 1 second. That's what happens when I have too many colors here, or too much going on. All right. There's 10 and 5. There we go. Okay, so if player B or firm B decides to advertise, then it's best for firm A to advertise. If player B doesn't, then firm B should not advertise. Or player B should advertise. If we go ahead and player A advertises, it's best for them to firm B to advertise. And if firm A doesn't advertise, it's best for firm B to advertise. All right, so here's what I got. And it sort of lines up with the two dominant strategies. So in terms of Nash equilibrium, and I know it could drive you a little bit crazy here, is that here's what I came up with. But basically, when you use the rules for Nash equilibrium, it's going to be, that's the Nash equilibrium right there. Okay? Because it was in the best interests of both of each player's moves to both have a dominant strategy. Okay? Hope that clears it up. Let me go through some other things since I'm a little behind. Let's see. If collusion is illegal, do oligopolies function similar to a competitive monopoly? Well, I guess if they're colluding, then you want to have what's called tacit collusion. You don't want overt collusion. Overt means you're just openly out there colluding. Tacit is you are somewhat secretive about it. Let's see. Who hasn't finished the problem set? Monopoly. I don't know what Dustin's talking about. Who let the dogs out? We did not. All right. Is Nash basically where two dominant strategies are the same, or they fall in the same squares? Yeah, I would agree with that, Liam. Absolutely. Any other questions? I know a lot of you have the questions on the Nash equilibrium dominant strategy, and if you ever run across that question, I mean, I would just redraw the. You have so much going on in the box, I would redraw the matrix. That's what I would do. What does graph look like for a colluding oligopoly? It looks like a monopoly graph. Would you like me to draw it? Here's a colluding oligopoly making a profit. So we got the demand curve, we got MR, we've got MC. Here's ... and here's ATC. Price, quantity of the oligopoly. Voila. A colluding oligopoly, making a profit. They're acting as a monopoly. They're working as one. Okay? What are the difference between the graphs for monopolies and monopolistic competition? Not much of a difference at all, really. Pretty much the same graph. That's about it. Monopolistic, they do have that excess capacity that we talked about in class. So don't forget, you're probably going to have a question on excess capacity. Remember that monopolistically competitive firms, they're inefficient. They do not produce, when we're in the long run, they do not produce at the low point of ATC. Therefore, the distance between that point and the actual quantity of profit maximization is that excess capacity. Oh, Andre's here. Everybody say hi to Andre. One thing about them that I've seen over the years, Lindsay, are that the monopolistic competition curves, MR and MC, tend to be a little steeper. So in the long run, for monopolies, they're going to not have positive economic profits in the long run. They're going to break even in the long run. So your monopoly graph in the short run, I can show you the difference. monopoly, short run, monopoly, long run. So right now I'm drawing the monopoly in the short run and monopoly in the long run. And actually I'll draw it making a profit. Or it could be a loss. Let's do a profit. Here we go, monopoly long run and monopoly short run. I don't really see a lot of monopoly long run questions. A lot of time in the long run, we usually see monopolistic competition. Definitely perfect competition in the long run. Because remember, in with a monopoly, like you're not going to have firms enter and exit because of the barriers. So you're really, for the most part, going to see monopolies in the short run. If a firm is entering, then they're out. The industry is toast. So you have to think about that. What are all the parts of the graph that are squared in like profit and cost? Well, you have total revenue, you have total cost, and you have profit. So this green area, the green area right here, let me show right there. Andre, the green area right there is total revenue. And then the lines, the diagonal lines are the cost. That's the area of cost because you go up to the ATC curve. As for HH scale, what constitutes as concentrated, sort of concentrated? Well, purely concentrated is 10,000, obviously. From things that I've seen, concentrated like around 2,500 maybe. Sort of, maybe in the 1,000s, not concentrated less than that. The textbook says barriers to entry make it possible for monopolists to maintain positive profits in the long run. You know, that actually does make sense. That does make sense. I would agree. But it's interesting. I've seen some other sources that indicate about the economic profits for that. Yeah, and that does make sense, Liam, for a monopoly because of nobody else can get into the business. In the long run, the ATC curve intersects the demand curve at the profit maximizing quantity, so there's a profit of 0. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to look into that a little bit more, Ellie and Liam, in terms of monopoly in the long run. Ellie, I've seen where they've talked with a monopoly in the long run, where it's talked about the that there's a break even, that there are no economic profits in the long run. So, all right. Well, that's one thing that I will investigate right after this. What other questions do we have? We have, let's see, it's 8:51. So the question is also, on Friday, which Seinfeld episode do we want to watch? I think that's a big question here. Which Seinfeld episode? And I already bought the prizes for the best economic explanation of Seinfeld. Season 4, episode 19. Well, which one is it? Okay, so taking a look, Liam. So what I saw, um, yes, a monopoly can maintain in the long run profits because nobody else is coming in. So in the long run, they can maintain those economic profits in the long run. And it's interesting to think about why, the curve looks the way it is. There's no competition for the monopoly. But for monopolistic competition, it will break even because there are firms that come in and come out and so on and so forth. And from what I see is that the monopoly only bears a loss if it exits the market. If it stays in, it maintains. Now, we have to be careful. Maintains long-term, long-run economic profits if it stays in. And of course, if it leaves, then it has a loss. And that makes sense because we have to remember it's economic profit. It's not accounting profit. So we're talking about that opportunity cost. The MR curve is always exactly twice as steep as the demand curve. I could believe that. I could believe that. So at our high point, we had 18 people. So about, what's the percentage on that? Maybe about 5 or 6% of the students. What other questions? Questions. No, there will never be game theory with more than 2 firms. They will not put it in there. I've never, ever seen it. Though I have seen some examples on the internet with many firms. How many questions are on the multiple choice? Well, there are 35 questions. And each question has 5 answer choices. The FRQs are chosen. There are 3 of them. You'll actually have more time on Thursday with the FRQs. And don't forget to sign up for Winterfest on Friday. We need more people signing up for Winterfest. And congratulations to all the new inductees of Rho Kappa for this year. Per unit loss or gain. I don't think there are any questions about per unit loss or gain now that I think about it. There's only so much I can throw on there. Oh, pardon me. What other questions, ladies and gentlemen? Anything else? Sorry for the delay. We had to upgrade it's called OBS Studio. If anybody's ever heard of OBS Studio, we had to upgrade to a new version, and then the streaming worked. Perf comp graph. I don't. Oh. Yeah, because they're both marginal. And that's per unit. Well, that's between each unit. Anything else in the next couple of minutes before I say adios? Maybe I'll upgrade my camera and other things for the midterm review. All right, well, it is 9:01. Good luck. I think everybody's going to do real well tomorrow. And just keep working. Did anybody use Albert.io? All right. Collaborative notes are good. A lot of good stuff in there as well. And the book is a great resource too. So, all right. On that note, we are done for the evening. See everybody. Sorry about the technical difficulties before. And we are done. I'm glad I could answer everybody's questions. Have a great night. See